Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. JDF member dies in South Camp Road crash. A soldier who was hit by a car while walking along the South Camp Road, St. Andrew on Sunday, has succumbed to his injuries. The deceased has been identified as 36-year-old Garan Anderson. Anderson, who resides in Burnside Hill, Red Hills, St. Andrew, was walking along the roadway when the driver of a Nissan Latio motor car that was traveling towards Crossroads allegedly lost control of his vehicle. The driver reportedly mounted the embankment and then hit Anderson. The vehicle subsequently caught ablaze. The accident happened about 9:30 a.m. The police and units from the fire department were alerted, and Anderson was transported to hospital where he was pronounced dead. The police said the driver of the motor vehicle was warned for prosecution pending further investigation. Who slap parents accountable, says JTA. Against the backdrop of an alarming figure of over 32,000 students who have not been scholastically engaged since March 2020 when the novel coronavirus pandemic hit, the Jamaica Teachers Association JTA said it is time for incompetent parents to be held accountable. In an interview with reporters, JTA President Winston Smith said it is impossible for administrators to reach out to and track every student. As it relates to this matter, we at the Jamaica Teachers Association are of the view that it's time the parents step up to their responsibilities and ensure that their children are sent to school. Neither the school nor the ministry can find or know where every student is, but every parent knows, or at least should know, where their child is at this point, Smith charged. It is their responsibility to ensure that their child or children are accessing the opportunities provided by the school, he further stated. Some parents agreed with Smith, saying the onus is on them to ensure their children show up to learn. Nadine Owens, a mother of 3, said, "I don't see why any parent would know their child isn't showing up for school and is comfortable. Above everything else, I am not, and I don't think any parent should be comfortable with the education level of these children in this pandemic. We can see that because of the online school and all its problems that the students are just not as sharp. So personally, I make the effort to send them out every day that school keep. And if you don't have to use the online approach that is offered by some schools, send the children to school. It is for their best and your best as a parent in the long run." Carrion Garden, mother of a grade 1 student, shares a similar sentiment. "At first, I was afraid to send my son out. I was saying the virus is still out there and about, but we just have to take the precautions. I tell my son to wear his mask, and he has his sanitizer in his bag, and he knows how to use it. Sanitizer is at the school too, and the teachers supervise well, so there is no point to keep him out of school." 2 weeks after the school term began on January 3rd, Harry Hanson, principal of Cambridge High School, told reporters that about 300 students at Cambridge were unaccounted for. Another parent said, "My child is in high school, Affidea School. These are the serious education years. I don't play. If my son don't show up 2 days, teachers call me because they know the type of parent I am. If most parents show that kind of seriousness from the get-go, more teachers would reach out early, and we wouldn't have so many of our kids lost in the wind. It will bite many parents in the future." Smith told reporters that local media has a role to play in ensuring that more parents are accountable. "We therefore call on all media houses to make it a campaign to get parents to live up to their responsibilities and send their child or children out to school. Should they do this, then the 32,000 students referenced will be significantly reduced or even eliminated. Also, where parents are having difficulties, they need to bring that to the attention of the ministry by way of the school so that they can be afforded the necessary assistance required to alleviate those challenges," he said. During her 2022-2023 sectoral debate presented in Parliament on Tuesday, April 12, Education Minister Favour Williams revealed that through the Yard to Yard Find the Child initiative, at least 120,000 students have been noted as unaccounted for during the online teaching and learning modality adopted throughout the pandemic. Thus far, Williams said the ministry has been able to re-engage approximately 87,446 of the 120,000 pupils who were not accounted for during the pandemic, and added that the ministry is committed to finding all the students. The minister said 103 million was spent and 1,793 persons engaged in the search to find the students. Further, deans of discipline and our guidance officers will specifically redouble their effort, Williams said in her presentation. However, Lynn Wright, head of the Jamaica Association of Principals of Secondary Schools, JAPSS, told reporters that the fact that the ministry has been able to track more than half of the 120,000 students should not be downplayed. It's important that we recognize that the Ministry of Education has been able to track most of them, as the number was reported to be over 120,000, Wright stated. We are, however, concerned that what those other children are doing and hope that ultimately they will be found. Notwithstanding, the work is not done for the over 87,000 students that are now accounted for, Wright added. For those that have been found, we are hoping that with social and academic gaps they have, the ministry will find the necessary material, human and financial resources to best help those students reintegrate into the learning culture, Wright reasoned. Meanwhile, the ministry had indicated that it is costing the government approximately $4 billion to try to catch up with the learning loss in education caused by the pandemic, which kept students out of school for close to 2 years. According to the figures, which the education minister presented to the House, this includes $435 million in additional grants for sanitization and desk, $250 million on extra lessons, $137 million on mask and test kits and other items, $1 billion for temporary teachers, and $2.2 billion on continued support for online learning and educational resources. But Sharika Mills, Policy and Advocacy Coordinator for Jamaica Youth Advocacy Network, told reporters that the number of students who are currently academically engaged was unsatisfactory. It's disappointing, as we know the ideal situation is to have all the students back in school and accounted for, and it begs the question as to what intervention will look like for them as their situation worsen by the day, Mills stated. School on its own has never been enough to incentivize attendance, though we have to wonder if some social programs that exist like PATH, Program of Advance Through Health and Education, that used to encourage students to attend school, are no longer as robust or functioning as they used to. St. Mary sees sharp increase in murders. Senior crime fighters here have planned a series of community meetings in response to a startling increase in the number of murders recorded in this northeastern parish since the start of the year. A total of 15 people have been killed so far in the parish, compared to 1 in the corresponding period last year, according to Deputy Superintendent of Police, DSP Joseph Foster. He said 8 of these murders have been cleared up effectively, meaning that the prime suspect has been charged or killed. DSP Foster's announcement of the upsurge was met with expressions of shock from some people in the earshot at the monthly meeting of the St. Mary Municipal Corporation last Thursday. A few months ago, the police had told the corporation that they had achieved notable success in further lowering the parish's annual homicide rate. St. Mary recorded 27 murders last year, down from 32 in 2020. The declining trend is not threatened by the sharp increase. Our murder stats this year so far are not going good, lamented DSP Foster. We see where some of these murders emanate from some simple dispute, such as over parking spots. Noting that there is a challenge as it relates to dispute resolution, DSP Foster added that some cases are referred to the Dispute Resolution Center located at Gill St. Mary. Fully aware that the center is not enough to staunch off bloodletting, the COP in St. Mary intend to give community policing a boost. They promised to meet with residents of Port Maria on April 28, Castleton on May 12, Gale on June 9, Richmond on July 28, Cameron Hall on July 7, Anoto Bay on June 19, and August 18, and Arakabeso on September 1. These are meetings we have planned to see how best we can take some positive action and see how best we can reduce these incidents of crime, DSP Foster stated. The good news is that there has been no increase in other crimes in St. Mary. DSP Foster said 6 shootings have been recorded so far this year, the same number reported for the corresponding period in 2021. 2 of those reported this year have been cleared up. As it relates to aggravated assault, he said 4 have been recorded since the start of the year, compared to 5 last year. All of those reported this year have been cleared up. 3 break-ins have been recorded in St. Mary since the year started, reflecting a decrease from the 13 cases reported in the same period in 2021. Turning to robberies, the SP Foster revealed that 5 has been reported so far this year, including 3 that have been cleared up. For the similar period last year, there were 7 cases of robberies recorded in the parish. He said there is a trend of 2 men on motorcycle robbing people in St. Mary after they withdraw a relatively large sum of money from banks in the neighboring parish of St. Anne. We have to be very vigilant out there while conducting business, transactions at the financial institutions. Be very vigilant. And we have to look out for the trend that is 2 men on a motorcycle. If needs be, seek assistance from the police or private security company, but we need to be careful, DSP Foster cautioned. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.